Hey everybody, welcome back to Not So Trad Wife. I'm super excited. Today we have Master Retro Bella here with us. We're going to be talking about some issues of race, future projections, stuff like that. I'm going to let her explain herself, introduce herself, and then we will jump right into the thick of it.
Hello, hello, Charlie the Doll, and for any and all folks who are tuning in, I had to do the big hair because you don't come to a Charlie Doll interview without the big hair. So I had to come and do the big hair and be ready, be real
How do you get
extra.
your bangs so perfect?
Honestly, it's a two-step process. It's a two-step process. Like first it's like I run the curling iron through it one time and then like kind of let it sort of cool off a little bit while I start to pin curl the rest of my hair.
Mhm.
And once I've kind of done half of my hair, then I go back through it a second time and take it and hold it at the base, like one, two, and then let it go, and then brush it through. And then as it cools, it kind of flattens down a little bit.
Okay.
And then I just kind of take my, a little rat comb, just kind of take it and kind of like boop, 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 boop. So it's all just kind of
So
perfect. Yeah.
Okay, well now I know. So I was like
Okay.
out here with a pair of scissors.
It's okay. Actually, I get a lot of questions about the bangs, and
Well,
you
they
know
look
what?
immaculate. They look perfect.
Well,
So,
thank you. And I'm not one of those femmes that's like, no, you can't know my secrets. Like I'm like, look, if we're all shining, then I'm shining too.
so
So
my
I'm
issue
all
is
about
like I'll tell you how I do it, but it's not good for your skin or your
shining. Well, everybody's skin is different. So
so
yes,
I spray my face with hairspray instead of setting spray. So I would
I
not
mean,
recommend that to anyone
I
ever.
mean, like in a pinch, if you've ran out of setting spray, like I said, almost said shampoo, like hairspray is like the next best thing. It's like one ingredient like different
It
than
works
what
better
it
than
is, and
setting
it works
spray for
really
me.
well. I
Yeah,
meant
I'm like I need
like
that
I know
hard
some people.
hold.
Yeah, just like do that. Like I know some, and actually, like whenever I use setting spray, like the hair here is always super stiff because like it's
Mhm.
holding it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean whatever works. I mean as long as you feel comfortable and your skin's fine, and I'm all right with that.
Amen.
So all right, we got off on a tangent.
We did. I'm bad at that. That's
We
why
got
I
off on
don't
a
direct the
tangent.
conversation because it
So,
doesn't get anything done.
hi again. I'm Master Retrobella, and I'm the current Southwest Master for 2023. Very excited. That this makes me the first woman to hold this title, the first Latina
Congratulations.
woman to hold this title. So we're very very excited, and I'm looking forward to what the rest of the year holds. So I also hold this title with my slave, Boy Drake, and we're from Bakersfield, California. And I've been in this community for, oh gosh, I want to say like a little over 9 years. So, yeah, I've seen a bunch. I pay attention to a lot, and I'm really excited to be here. Oh, actually, I should probably silence my phone while I'm here. So, okay, muted. So, all right. So
Phone's dead, so we don't
you
have
had
to do
questions
that.
about before we got started. You had a question,
Yes.
right?
Your gold hoop earrings and your bright red lipstick. I would love to know about it.
Oh, okay. Actually, I talked about it during my run at the competition and in my speech, my onstage speech. And basically, where this comes from is I grew up as one of those families where we had multiple hustles, like multiple different ways to getting money. And one of our hustles was like selling at the swamp meet. I'm just gonna say swamp meet because like all folks know what a swamp meet is. So like we sold at the swamp meet, and like I'm spent a bunch of time there, and like one of the things that I noticed there is like a majority of the stands were ran by women, and like they're the ones that are making the money for their families, and so like they have to get there at like super early, like before the light is out, get their stuff set up, get everything together, and then after they're done, all day until like it closes. They have to go home and like tend to their houses and tend to their kids and everything, and then it just repeats. Especially if you have a swamp meet that runs like every day. The one that we used to sell out only ran on Saturdays and Sundays. So like I just remember just these women were just so strong, and like they were strong, there were no nonsense. And the most like amazing thing is that like 90% of the women who owned these stalls like didn't finish their education. Like for example, I was raised by my grandparents, and so like my grandmother, like she has the higher education between the both of my grandfather and my grandfather. Like she went to about grade 6, almost 7th grade, and he stopped about like 3rd or 4th grade. And so like but that story is very, very common. Like they stop school because it's not like in the United States how it is in Mexico, where you are mandated to go. Like if your family can afford to send you, like you go. And so they stopped going because they needed to help provide for like the family. And so that's an extremely common like story, especially among like the older generation. So like it was just an amazement to me that all of these strong women can just do all of this like math like on the fly. Like they can make all kinds of change. They know exactly like percentages off and everything. And I just remember thinking like, wow, like some bad bitches. Like I really, really
Right?
love this. And like and a lot of the times, like a lot of, especially if you're undocumented, like you really don't have a bank account. You don't have a bank account, you're keeping your money at home or you're sending your money back home. So like like a lot of people just don't have bank accounts. So what you do instead of having a bank account, you start wearing your wealth. And so like these women would always have hoop earrings and like various sizes. Sometimes it'd be really intricate, sometimes it'd be long and dangly, sometimes it'd be really simple, like these ones. And I just like every single one like would have red lipstick and like some variation of a hoop earring. And I just remember like looking at them just like that's gonna be me, like, but a version for me. I was like, that's gonna be me. And I can't wait until I sort of get that. And that's what part I left out is not only are they running these booths, but like they're respected, like respected, and no nonsense from the men who come to the booths. You get in, you get what you need, and you get out. And I just remember looking at that, and I was like, God, that is so powerful. And I want to be that. And but one of the things being a kid growing up in the swamp meet is that like everybody takes care of everybody. So like you had your family, but then like you had the people next door that's like, would totally tell on you if you were acting up, doing no good. Like you could never have like a boyfriend or a girlfriend because like they in your business and they'll tell your family. And so like that was definitely a thing. And I just remember like seeing all this and like, wow, like this is community. Like this is where the idea of community comes from. And you watch out for each other because you're not just watching out to see if your kids are acted up. Like they're watching out to make sure no one steals your stuff. Like no one's stealing your like whatever you're selling or like runs off with like your cash box or anything. So yeah, but part of that is like learning to not learning, but like it's almost sort of like you have to be somebody of your word. Like your word has to be trusted. And so that's sort of the reason why I wear red lipstick and gold hoops. So it's a reminder to always remind myself, like, look, this is where you come from. And like this is where this power comes from and what you want to aspire to. And so like that's why I do it. I don't do this every day, actually. I don't do this every day. I'm really just kind of a normal mom, just a regular mom, but like, when high fem it up, I do this. So
Love to high fem it up. God bless. And you wear it so well.
thank you. Thank you. It kind of built up over the years, and then eventually you kind of find like, oh, this is what works for me. And, it becomes a science where it's just like, okay, it's a routine. I can make it work.
Awesome. Okay, so we had a lot of stuff that we brainstormed about. What do you want to start with?
Oh, wow. I think like we should start off with talking about like how far we've come already as a community. I mean, like I had a very impromptu question that I posed on my social media, and it was like, if here are the Latino, Latinx, Latine title holders that I know, if you know some that I haven't either heard of or haven't made the acquaintance, like please drop them in the chat, and let so that way, educate me, please, because I love learning about new things. And like it was really interesting how many Latino title holders there are. Like just the rough estimate, we have 16 leather title holders. Now mind you, there may be more. It's just at the time my small segment of folks who peeped me some names. So we have 16 leather title holders, and for the MS world, we only in my region. I recognize there are other regions, so if you're listening to this and you're not in the Southwest region, please drop me an email at retrobella36 at gmail.com, and please let me know if you've got some in your region. But in the Southwest region, where Charlie and I are from, we only have two MS title holders, and that is Master Guardian and Sir Mystic. And like it's so inspiring. At least for me, it is. Because I definitely an 80 baby, and so I'm definitely not the next generation, but I'm what comes after the next generation. And so for me, what inspires me and gives me that drive to keep going is watching all of these folks just do the thing and do the things that make them happy and make them shine. So like what's it uh Inzbaba, like she's Afro Latina, and then we have the Mr. International Leather. He's also Latino, and he's from LA.
I
And
saw,
so I
yes.
know, so it's just like, yes, I'm definitely excited. It just motivates me. It gives me the
It
drive
really
to just
does.
want to like keep going. And so since majority of the title holders that we have are on the leather side, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm driven to kind of start raising the numbers on the MS side. And I'm fascinated to sort of start gathering these stories of, especially for Latinos, is what brings you to this community and what is it that keeps you here? Because we all come for different reasons, and a lot of us unfortunately leave for very different yet similar reasons at the same time too. So I think like I'm if you're watching this and you would love to drop me some information on this, please do this. But like if you are somebody who is Latino and or Latinx or Latini or Latina, and you have some issues or you want to share your story about being in the MS community, please send me those stories. Or if you don't feel comfortable, send me an email, tag me on socials. Like I am Retrobella everywhere.
And we
And I
will
will
have
definitely
your
see it.
information down there in
Okay.
the show notes so people can find you. I don't know if I want to put your actual email, but
Oh
we'll
no,
find
fair
a way.
enough.
We'll put something.
We'll put something up. Okay, that'll work. So I'm fascinated about those stories. I think like not only is it, I feel like it's cathartic if you can like tell your story out, but also like just having somebody who has been through the same thing, it it builds community, because then like you don't feel alone, because there's been so many times, especially when I was new in the community, sort of coming in and just sort of like feeling different, feeling really different, and but yet wanting to sort of, it's really hard coming into a place where like the only POC folks there are Black people, and as welcoming as they are, it's really nice to have somebody there who understands you,
Absolutely. Like, I
specifically.
don't think if I hadn't joined the other community, I wouldn't know other Black people. That's just how it is in my region. Like, it was me and my brother against the world. But now, like, I have a Black family, I have a community. And not to say that, like, not everyone in the community is my family, but like you said, having somebody that knows your experience, that's walked a similar walk, and now you can come together and support each other, be like,
Mhm.
hey, I see you, I see all that you've done, like you're not doing it alone, come sit with me. Like it really does help.
It really does. And I'm really thankful that the times where there hasn't been other Latinos, where Black POC spaces have allowed me to be there. I really appreciate that. And whether those folks know it or not, it's giving me the motivation to want to sort of gather us together. And I don't mean just specifically like Mexican Latinos. I mean all Latinos from wherever you are, on in the planet. So it's been really inspiring. It gives me hope, and it gives me a drive. So,
Absolutely. So what's next?
oh man, honestly, the first thing that's next is to just keep telling stories. Keep telling stories because I sort of hope that if I keep telling the stories that I held back when I first came into the community, that it would allow others to feel comfortable to be able to talk about it. Like for example, when I first came into this community, I walked into the first time I went to a leather event, and I walked into all black leather. Now, this is where, okay, so it may not seem like a big deal to non-Latinos, but especially Mexican Latinos. But so when I grew up, black leather was codified as being part of like the narco trade. Like only cartels wear black leather, and everybody else wears brown or like colored leather. I mean, and I fully understand that now we've sort of come away from that, and now everybody wears every color. But like for a lot of us, for a really long time, like you didn't dare wear like black leather in front of your parents, especially if they were really traditional. They'd be like, "Who you dating? What are you doing? Who you running the streets with? Like, what are you doing?" Right? So walking into the first leather space and kind of like seeing that, I was just like, whoa, this is, it took me a little bit to kind of get into it, but then, I accepted it and it was fine. But now I kind of find myself at a place now, you know, 9 years after the fact now. Now I'm sort of in a place where I want to start sort of pushing it to the front of the discussion of other colored leathers being okay. And so that's why when I do like leather looks, I try really hard to not just make it only black and do like multiple different colors. Or if I like share media on social medias, I tend to sort of push it towards the front, all of the various colors that people sort of do and the different techniques. Um, so that's been really fun. So for the future, what I'm hoping is that in the future we'll start seeing people, we'll start going to leather spaces and it'll be colorful.
It's me and my pink leather and red vest against the world,
You know
honestly.
what? And I'm here for it, and I'm supportive of it, and I can't wait to see sort of what happens if it changes a little bit. Like I felt really hopeful at Northwest. There were some folks there who were sort of doing their expression of leather was coming from an indigenous side of it. Like I know the person who won Northwest Boot Black, like the boots that they were wearing were like
Those rough
these
out like knee high, right?
yeah, they were
I
like
just
knee
saw
high.
a photo.
Right, like they were knee high and they were like suede, but like they were differently covered. And more importantly, they had fringe. Like you don't ever see anyone in this community with fringe. And like it's really hard to go and buy like Mexican leather and find things without fringe on it. Like we love our fringe.
I have
So
some
like
fringe in my leather collection, and I happen
and
to love
for
it.
some reason, fringe is like a dirty word in our community. So I think it'd be kind of interesting to see some difference and to see it kind of come back. So like I'm really excited to see if that changes in the future.
Stay in
So
touch. We'll
that's
speak
sort of like the first wave. And so for me, the second wave of like what I see in the future is I would really love to see more stories of people kind of be not only put out into the space, like whether or not they're doing it speeches or they're doing it on FetLife or other social media, and then seeing it turn around and being put in the Carter Johnson Library. I think it'd be really nice to start seeing more people's stories in the Carter Johnson Library so that we can
You
actually
wanna
have a section
work on
and
that together, maybe?
right. I
You
think it'd
need
be
a
really nice.
side project, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I would be down for that. Maybe not this year because I might be a little busy because
We are both a little
yeah,
busy.
we might be a little busy this year because maybe at the next SPLF where I'm not a contestant. So but that would be something I'd be interested in doing. Because I just remember the last year when I went to South Plains Leatherfest. I walked into the Carter Johnson Library and I didn't know this. I the library had reached out to me and asked if they could put one of my speeches in the library. I didn't know that that speech was going to be printed and it was going to be at the library at South Plains. So when I walked in on it and my reaction to it, I'm going to be honest, my reaction, I just started bawling. Um, and so I felt like humbled and I felt so honored to be included there. And as much as that was fun for me, I can't wait to see somebody else's reaction when they see their thing written there and they see it on a surprise. And so, like, I think that'd be so exciting for me. So, I want more people to feel that. So that would
Absolutely.
be the second thing. And then the last thing that I would really love to see for the future is I would love to see more, whether or not they're Latino or they're Afro Latino. I would love to see more Latinos, period, just running for titles, especially in the MS side. That would be really, really great. And I, you know, sorry, my brain just totally farted there for a second. So, but we'll get back to it. Yeah, I would love to see more representation, and I think that's why when my boy and I put out a lot of our social media stuff, we tend to theme it in that way, so that way it sort of inspires and sort of awakens, because sometimes, especially if you've been in spaces where there isn't a whole lot of POC representation, and especially not a whole lot of Latino representation, you tend to kind of shut it down and it's dormanted. And it just kind of sits down here while you're sort of pretending that that part doesn't exist of you. And so we theme the way that we do so that way if you see this, that's going to reawaken this. And so that way you feel inspired and like, hey, you know what, I haven't thought about that side of me, I want to start talking about it. Or how, like, I what I love is when people like write to me on social media or they send me an email where they've said, hey, I was reading what you wrote and it just reminded me like this obscure story about this, that, the other, and I haven't thought about that in 10 years, but like that reminded me, and I thought about it, and it made me feel really good. And
Mhm.
I I love that. For me, that just gives me drive to want to keep going. So I would really love that. Oh,
I
wow, that was a
agree.
lot. I'm sorry. I don't think I
No,
breathed through that
this is
entire
what I'm
thing.
here for. I am getting the 10-minute warning. So
Okay.
just so we know, that leaves us about two more topics if we're quick. It's about
Okay.
5 minutes on each. So
Okay.
it's up to you. So actually, I do have a question. What
Okay.
can the rest of us in your community do to help support Latino voices?
I think the first step would be like, look, just giving them a forum to where they can feel comfortable to just talk about their differences, or well, not differences, but just be able to speak and to give voice to whatever it is that they need. I think, like, I know for myself, a lot of the times I never talked about my family. I never talked about really anything because I thought like, oh, like nobody wants to hear this. Like this isn't some Tom of Finland like fantasy. This is the swamp meat. Who wants to hear about the swamp meat? Like, oh, like this is right. It's like who wants to hear about that? And you kind of get into a place in your head where it's just like, well, nobody wants to hear this. But in reality, people do want to hear this and they want to know about. They want to know like, hey, like how did you make that happen? And then you get into a story and it connects. And so I think like if we can just start allowing people to talk about the things that aren't normal you know what I mean, like aren't mainline
Yeah,
BDSM things. Like,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that would be the first step for sure.
Awesome. What's next?
Oh man. Okay, so very quickly here, we will be at the Master Slave Conference, also known as MSC. So we're going to be there next weekend. Well, not this weekend, the next weekend. So we're going to go do that. And then right after that, we're going to do the now forgive me, I don't have the right. I don't remember the way it's exactly worded, but
Maybe
it's
we
a
can,
panel
maybe we can,
discussion. It's a panel discussion for the Latine celebration because September is the Hispanic Heritage Month.
it is.
So there's going to be an amazing panel full of a lot of different Latinos, and I'm so excited to do that.
Where can the rest of us access that, or is it something just for Latino voices?
No, it's actually being hosted by House of Kush. They've
Oh,
got
perfect. Okay.
right, they've got their event links on
Yeah,
like
they are
FetLife.
very good at advertising, so
Yeah, they're
I
very good
will
at
drop a
advertising.
link in
So
the
yeah, you'll find it very, very easy. So yes, it's going to be hosted by the House of Kush, and I know they're on FetLife right now, so you can see that event link there.
perfect.
So we're gonna do that, and then after that, we're gonna drive down to LA, and we're gonna see the art exhibit that the Carter Johnson Library is going to be involved in. Mama Vi will be there, so I love how that event is turning into like a family reunion. So only Mama Vi can get all of us Southern Californians out of our
I'm
house
like,
to come
when
to
is
come and
this?
see,
You didn't
right? To
tell me
come and see
grandma
her.
was coming.
Right. And so we're gonna do that. That's a day trip. So we're gonna do that. And then after that, for Leather Week, which is the week that runs right before Folsom, that Sunday we're gonna be driving up to the San Francisco Eagle Bar, and there's gonna be a really, really nice event happening there. So we're gonna go and check that out. They're going to be raising the Latiny leather pride flag, the one that I designed. They're going to be raising it for the first time. So we're really, really excited. I'm going to be a special guest for that.
That's
So I'm
incredible.
really honored and I'm looking forward to that. So outside of that, that's like in the immediate what's going to happen. I don't have the month schedule after that, but yes, Saturday, September is very, very busy, but it's good. It's good.
Welcome to title holding. The rest of your life is going to be very,
Right?
very busy.
Well, right. And that's what I
Actually,
noticed about,
you're a parent. You know life's busy.
oh, life is busy. And that's what I realized is that I thought when folks said that, oh, title holding life, I thought it was a constant busy. What I've realized now is that it's busy, but in spits and spurts. So like,
Yours is
it's
coming in spurts.
yeah, well, mine is sort
Mine's
of coming in spurts. So it's like we had the competition, and then right after the competition, it was Northwest, and
oh
so now
yeah.
we've got a little bit of a 2 week, 2.5 weekish break, and then we're going into the next spurt of like busy, busy, which is what I
The
just
leather stuff,
looked at.
yeah. I'm just like, but then I have to do everything else in the in-between time, and then I never get a break.
Sure. That's true. It's true. But that in between stuff time, that's really important. That's really
Amen.
important because not only does it gives you a moment to break, but it also gives the rest of the people who support you and take care of stuff when you're not home. It gives them not just a break, but it refills their cup.
Yeah.
And so, like, believe it or not, like in between stuff, like I don't go nowhere because I'm like, okay, I need to stay home. I need to take care of my home, make sure everybody's good. So that way on the next spurt, like it's not as intense because I'm married and like I know when I've been gone a lot because my husband will say, yeah, it's been a while. You haven't been home in a while. Yeah, you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. That's
Yeah.
when I know that
Our
it's like,
husbands
okay,
sound similar.
yeah, you're doing a lot this week, huh? And I'm like, okay, that's my cue that I need to stay home and take care of home for a little bit. And by extension, him and everybody else. So
So we're at like 3 minutes, but I want to know what can we do to support you and your slave personally in your run?
oh wow. Well, first, we if your community would love to have us come out, please reach
Yes, we
out to
would.
us.
Please come out.
Yeah, please reach out to us. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook, on FetLife, and through email. Reach out to us if you have a community who would like us to come out. We can come out. We can do virtual or we can do in person. We're open to both. Um, that's a great way to help us by getting us out there. Another way to help would be like just donating to the travel fund. That's always helpful. That's always helpful for sure. And outside of that, I mean, just like keep us in your good thoughts, and support us, and root for us at international. That would be a giant help.
We will do.
We're really excited. So,
I'm excited for you. Well, I
uh,
think that's good. I'm gonna hit stop recording.
all right.